Willie D Live.
The King situation recently, where you guys had a public feud at
So
the game.
that was just a Harris family counseling session.
A very public Harris.
It was public. It was public. This was a field trip.
Yeah. What set him off?
He and I, or he and I first, and then him, my wife and I have a very, very different perspective in in his upbringing, his childhood, and I think the largest misconception between he and I, because I call him, I say, man, you from the suburb, and me, as a person who came from the turf, I'm, in the city, I'm from here, and all while I grew up, I looked there, and it was the destination. This was, the place people wanted to be to change their life and have a better way for themselves. When my mama wanted to get me out the hood and go and put me in, have better surroundings and better schools, so on and so forth, that's where she took me. And that's where he grew up. Now, and also the necessities being, already present. One thing about the ghetto, the trenches, is not just the quality of the construction around you. It's how we gonna eat. You know what I'm saying? Like, is the phone on today? Is the gas on? It's cold. Am I heating water up in a bowl, in a microwave to wash up for school? You know what I mean? Like those type of things he never had to go through. And that's why I'm always considered at the suburb. Now, I'm not saying somebody from the suburb ain't just as capable as somebody who from the hood. But we must understand, even if they capable, they still not surrounded by the same level of treachery. You know what I'm saying? As people who from the places like where I'm from. And he and I think he be thinking that I think he's soft. You know what I'm saying? Like he trying to show me that he can protect himself, and he, you know what I'm saying, that he's a man of a certain stature that I have inspired him to be by being myself. And I'm like, bro, I'm not saying what you are and aren't capable of doing, but the facts of the matter are, you from a very good home. You from a very good home, whether you at our house or your grandmama's house. You from a very good home. You got very good people. You know what I mean? You wasn't abused. It wasn't no other problem. If you had problems in your house, if you had problems you were dealing with, you went outside and you went and volunteered for some problems. You didn't have no issues coming back and forth from school to home, like not having no clothes, not having a coat in the winter. Like you ain't really had these kinds of issues. And once we got a chance to speak like that, he had to concur, and you know what I'm saying? I'm like, man, no matter what you able or capable of doing, you're gonna always be my son to me. I was there from the beginning. You just assumed the position of the persona that you this was just in the last few years. I was there when your head popped out. So it's just gonna be hard for me. You not gonna get that from me. You just not. You ain't gonna never get that from me. You can go and catch 1,000 bodies. You still gonna be my son. I ain't finna treat you like, hardened criminal. I don't give a damn what you go out there and do. So you just gonna have to. You just gonna have to. That's what you gonna get from me. So. Yeah. So it's just a mutual understanding that he understand not to really expect that type of a response from me, and I understand not to expect for him to, I guess, not to expect for him to disregard whatever tragedies or whatever hardships he may have experienced. even if they were volunteered. You know what I'm saying? He like, man, I still went through it. That don't mean just because I still had to go through it. I'm like, okay. And one thing he mentioned was, he said he went to school as a kid, like a famous kid, and he went to public school. And he's like, man, I ain't had no brothers, no big brothers that went to school with me. I went to school by myself. And so when I go to school, I got to hold my own. I'm like, yeah, that's fine. I understand that. And you deserve all the stripes that come with that. But that's not finna make me treat you different. You know what I mean? But I respect that, you know, that he believes in himself, and he don't take it off. You know what I'm saying? He not just behaving this way for cameras. Like, this is really, you know, the personality that he has assumed for himself. And all in all, it's really just a personality, because he's not out there selling no dope and committing no crimes and nothing like that. I mean, I guess it's the way he's wired. You know what I mean? So I try to respect that as much as I can, and he respects the fact that, you know, he just can't speak out of turn. You know what I'm saying? With me and his mama. I mean, that was the mutual understanding we came to.
Right. You, as you said, you know him. I mean, you was there when his head popped out. Hell, you was there before the head popped out.
That's right.
I mean,
put it there.
You put exactly. But knowing King, knowing that he has a propensity to get worked up.
Yeah.
When you saw him getting worked up, why did you smash the gas? Why didn't you just like pull him to the side and say?
I did.
And he didn't want to hear it.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
No, that's what I was trying to do. I mean, but you know, hey man, I got instincts, man. And I mean, but I feel like, you know, me just speaking, you know, calling it as I see it. I always feel like if someone, you know, takes that the wrong way, that's not my problem. That's not my issue to deal with. You know, now if them taking it the wrong way leads them down the path of disrespect, then it becomes my issue to deal with. And I mean, bruh, you know, I think it's an isolated incident. You know what I'm saying? And ultimately, whatever I do for my children, whatever I did, it was done out of love.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, so I just had to love on them a little bit.
I think everybody recognized that. But what did you say to him when you had him in the headlock?
Oh man, that's privileged information, man. Nah, bro. I mean, you know, we had a little slight conversation.
Because usually when you put somebody in the headlock, you know, I done had.
I mean, it wasn't a headlock.
I done had.
It was more like a bear hug.
It was a bear hug.
Yeah, it was more like a bear hug.
Okay, so it was a bear hug.
Yeah, a bear hug with one of these at the end. But nah, man, I just pulled him close to me, you know. You know what I mean? Where we could, like, real tight, so we could, you know, be joined together as one, and I could communicate, because I felt like when we were just like this far apart, I was talking, but it wasn't getting nowhere. You feel me? So I just had to get him close to me, so I could love him good.
Yeah, this is. I think one of the reasons why this resonates with me so much is because when my son was 15, me and him, we had to have a conversation about who the dad is and who the son is.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, one of the hardest things to even just think about is the idea of like having to hurt your own son. You know, like, you know, for disrespecting you.
Yeah.
Right? Because disrespect is not going to be tolerated under any circumstances. Like you said, I don't care how many bodies you go out there and get. You know, I'm still going to treat you with love. I still look at you as my son, you know. and with the same uh, reverence and love. You know what I'm saying? You're
Sure.
still my son, so don't get it twisted. I mean, perhaps if I was not there for you, if I was not a father like
Right.
that was present in your life and coach you and teach you and guided you and nourish you, protect you, and invested in you,
Right.
perhaps I might deserve a little disrespect. Maybe I'll take that, but not when I'm there, baby. Not when
I
I've
mean, to be
not when
honest,
I've not when I've been there from day one.
so how I see it, and this is what I tell my children. I say, you are comparing me on the wrong scale. You know what I'm saying? The scale that you putting me on is not the scale I should be on. Simply because two things. One, anything that we should expect of ourselves should cause for us to be better than our parents. I feel I'm a more present parent, a better parent than my father was. And whatever you saw that was wrong with me, you have an opportunity to be a better father to your children. You know what I mean? But you can't show nobody that came from what I came from, building an empire on a path to generational wealth, that has the same presence as a father that is working a 9 to 5, coming home, and has a consistent schedule. Um, there will be some sacrifices, you know what I mean? But all in all, you can't never say I missed a graduation. You can't never say I ain't even hardly missed like PTA. Every time they call me, I'm right there on your head. You know what I mean? Uh, my dad ain't even never came to my school before. My dad ain't even, hadn't even ever seen my bedroom, I don't think.
Shit, join the crowd.
You know what I'm saying? So I just feel like, whatever it is that is missing, especially if you are stepping into what we would consider an adulthood. Part of an adulthood is to assume all the responsibility for anything in your life that is wrong, is your fault. You know what I mean? Pointing the finger, blaming other folk, that's kid shit. So when you say you're an adult, it's my issue. It ain't gonna get fixed till I fix it. So whatever it is that you have a problem with, you must assume that for yourself. Looking back, pointing the finger, that shit there ain't gonna get you nowhere. And that's how I feel. That's, because I know that moving around, doing what we do, whether it's movies, tours, any other kinds of opportunities that have afforded us the life or the lifestyle that we've been afforded, it's going to require, a sacrifice of time. You know what I mean? But I feel like it ain't the amount of time, it's the quality of the time that is being spent. So I think, that's how I, communicate. Because all my kids is like, yo, when we were kids, man, you would come in, because of course I got a younger daughter, Eris, and the older kids, they look at
The time you spent with her.
yeah, they look at my
and
relationship with
the
Eris.
grace that she gets.
I was like, man, I was practicing with y'all. This taught me what to do. I seen, what worked and what didn't work, and now I'm doing better. And by the time I'm a grandfather, which I have one grandbaby, I'm gonna be even better than that.
Do any of them get that?
Get what?
Do they understand when you tell them that you have evolved as a parent because of the relationship that you had when you were younger with them?
Yeah.
Do they understand that Aries has it better because
I believe so.
they were the training ground?
I believe so. I know it's been and is being communicated.
Yeah.
But I think, man, I love all my kids, and I have no reason to believe that they don't love me. I think that I feel like they just kind of they have a tough walk ahead of them because there are instant expectations of them. You know what I mean? Before, just like you said, not getting the grace of being able to just go through it and do it and learn from it and without it being documented. You feel me? So I feel like they got a tough walk because it's just instant expectation. And they're under a microscope immediately from kindergarten, and I empathize with that, but the life that justifies or causes that level of expectation, I feel like you just say you can't complain. You just coming from where I come from, you just don't complain about that. So I'm trying to kind of unlearn and relearn some, but I still got instincts.